Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's edition of NASCAR 06 Total Team Control. And we are Truck Series racing on Wednesday night at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And it is going to be a potential championship winning race for our driver Ricky Craven, who comes in with a 216-point lead with 3 races to go. We have 5 drivers coming into tonight's race who still have a shot mathematically at the championship, but Ricky Craven has a chance to clinch the championship 2 races early. It's simple. The thing he needs to do, he needs to win the race, lead the most laps, and then Ron Hornaday is going to have to finish 8th or worse for him to win the championship. Based off of how the points are from 3rd place in the standings on back, if we are to win tonight's race, then that means those drivers will definitely be eliminated because they're not going to be able to gain points on me, and they need to be within 270 points of the championship leader coming into the final 2 races of the season in order for the championship to not be clinched. So the same kind of goes there for Ron Hornaday, but Hornaday is the only driver that is within 270 points coming into today's race, so we're going to need a little bit of help with a win if we're going to clinch. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, and we'll get into today's live commentary stream, but this time it is on the video game side of things. For the last time this week, we will not be streaming another video game until Monday next week, as we have Throwback Thursday tomorrow. We'll be watching the 1998 Las Vegas race. It is the first ever race at Las Vegas, so I'm curious to see that. I've never watched that race, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then Friday night, we'll be doing live commentary for the actual truck race at Las Vegas, Xfinity Series race on Saturday afternoon, and on Sunday afternoon, we'll be doing live commentary as well for the Cup Series. So this is it for the week. Hopefully we can clinch the championship, and yeah, let's get into this one. The O'Reilly 200 is about to begin, and we'll see if Ricky Craven can win the championship. He'll be starting 4th. Ron Hornaday will be on the pole. The green flag is in the air, and we are underway at Bristol. Chafin quickly clears Ricky Craven. Craven kind of let that spot go, so that way he can quickly get to the bottom and not risk being on the outside any longer than what he would have wanted to be. Hornaday leads lap 1. Now, he had to finish 7th or worse in order for Ricky Craven, with a win in the most laps led, to clinch the championship. I figured because he was on the pole and it being Bristol, he was more than likely going to lead the opening lap of the race, which he did. So that is still, even with the 5 bonus points, meaning that he will have to finish 8th or worse if Craven gets the win today. And already you can see off these first 3 laps, Hornaday not only leads the first 3 laps, but he is on the move, and he's already starting to put himself a little bit of distance now between himself and the 18 of Chase Montgomery, who is in 2nd place. Now, Craven tightened this race truck up a little bit from qualifying. He felt it was a little too loose off the exit of the corner, specifically when he was trying to get back into the gas. Looking to the inside of Chafin, trying to get into 4th place, right back where he started, and easily going to be able to do so. Chafin is going to be able to get to the bottom pretty quickly. He won't get hung out to dry on the outside. Got to get to that lead pretty soon, though. You don't want Hornaday to have a chance of leading the most laps, because if that happens, then you're looking at about 10th or worse for Hornaday to have to finish. So if there is any sort of hope already, Craven needs to get to this lead ASAP. It's only a 200-lap race, and 200 laps at Bristol is not a long time. Very good chance this race is going to be less than an hour tonight, especially if we stay green all the way through it. Up to 3rd now for Craven as he clears John Hamilton, who won the most recent race of this schedule. Dark Crypto, Autism Trucking, Derek Booth, Evan Stevens, Billy Kramer, Mark DeMars, Corey Freet. Welcome into the stream, guys. Craven overdriving turns 1 and 2 there, trying to get to Chase Montgomery, who was 2nd in points until he ended up blowing an engine in the last race. Allowed Craven to really pull away in the standings. In fact, Montgomery's blown an engine in each of the last 2 races. And in those last 2 races, Craven has finished first and second. 3 straight top 2 finishes for Craven into today's race. And he's up to second, right behind Ron Hornaday. And he's going for the race lead into turn 3 on lap 12. From 4th starting position to 1st for Ricky Craven as he leads lap 12 at the start-finish line. That'll be 5 bonus points for him. Now he knows he needs to win, lead the most, and just hope he gets a little bit of help. Hornaday all over the back bumper of the 99. Maybe going to try to take the race lead back again. Not quite going to get to the bumper. Craven not going to be rattled. And he might have been rattled a little bit, though. There was contact off the exit of turn 2 after Craven got into the wall. Held Hornaday up a little bit, but Hornaday will get back to the lead. And Montgomery now to second. Craven to third. Craven was only able to lead about 2 laps there. Trying to go for second again under Chase Montgomery. Really good drive through 1 and 2. Great corner exit speed to get back to the inside of the 6. Craven will lead this lap by half a truck length. Not clear yet. Should be clear off the exit of turn 2 this time, and he is. Now hoping he can run away from Ron Hornaday. It's about a 4-truck breakaway at the front of the field right now. Alternate through the different camera angles in the early going of the race. Last 2 races of the Truck Series season at the Old Spice Speedway on a road course. Fantasy road course at that. And the final race of the year at Daytona. Which I've never won a truck race at Daytona before, so that and the fact that it's a super speedway just goes to show if you have a shot at the championship going into that race, you could very well win the title. John Hamilton will move into second place for the short term. Ron Hornaday back to third. Craven really hoping he starts to go backwards. Position-wise. Craven overdriving the corner. He's done this a handful of times. He's just carrying too much speed on corner entry. From time to time, gives up too much of the bottom. That's how Hornaday was able to get back to the inside of him a while back and get to the lead a couple laps after Craven took the lead for himself the first time at lap 12. Already 23 laps in the books. Not the greatest handling race truck, I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely overdriving the corners, but it feels unsteady in the middle corner of this at the same time. It's like the truck's moving around a lot. Very light in the middle. It's not as loose off the exit of the corner as what it was in qualifying. That definitely hurt my chance of getting the pole. Still fast enough for fourth. And there you see him overdriving the corner again. This time in the wall off of turn 4. Turn 2, rather. Same spot he got in the wall earlier. Hornaday going for second. I think John Hamilton checked up after Craven hit the wall, and that's why he wasn't able to get to the inside for the race lead. It's going to cost him second place. In the battle for the most laps led, Craven leads these next 2. It'll be 14 laps led apiece between Craven and Hornaday in the early going, so they're going toe-to-toe right now to try to get the most laps led. Of course, Hornaday trying to obviously not only stay within the title hunt going into these last 2 races of the season, but a solid run, and even some help from Craven. He is right back in the championship hunt with 2 races to go. I mean, you never know what could happen. He cut that within a 1-race lead, and then we go into the next race where maybe there still is a chance at clinching the championship for Ricky Craven. but there's also a pretty solid chance that Ron Hornaday could stay within the title picture as long as he gets a good finish at Old Spice Speedway. But he's going to need a lot of help still to win the championship overall. Maybe not a DNF from Ricky Craven, but at least one terrible finish, and then just has to flat out beat him the other 2 races. And Hornaday's back to putting a lot of pressure here on Ricky Craven. Just 30 laps in. Chase Montgomery in 4th place, starting to lose touch in the top 3 a little bit. John Hamilton still keeping up with the 99 and the 6 trucks in front of him. Craven, a 9-time winner this year, trying to go for win number 10. Had a win stolen from him at the UPS Speedway. Another half-mile short track. That was the last racetrack we were at. Led the most laps that day. Still finished 2nd to John Hamilton. Hamilton also has 3 wins this year. And Chase Montgomery with 2. The top 4 right now in this race are the only 4 drivers with more than 1 win on the year. The field should be getting into lap traffic fairly soon. Handling-wise, the truck feels better in turns 3 and 4, but when I get through turns 1 and 2 better, I can get a much better launch off the exit of turn 2 than what I can turn 4. At least compared to the trucks behind me. So it seems like to me, at least. And right there, struggling off turn 2. Again. Got into the wall. Hornaday back to putting pressure on Craven again. Craven doesn't budge enough. Hornaday's so close to that back bumper. Now he overdrives the corner. Maybe got too close behind the 99 without touching him. He gets tight. He's going to go up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. And John Hamilton side by side for 2nd. And Montgomery's close enough behind these guys now after that wall scrape by Craven a couple laps ago off turn 2 that he may get to 3rd. And drop the 6 truck back to 4th. Just don't know what could happen during green flag pit stops if we see any green flag pit stops. Even pit stops under caution. More than likely, just a one-stop race today. Actually, not more than likely. It is a one-stop race today. That's guaranteed. So it's going to be so vital to try to stretch this fuel run out as far as possible. You do not want a short pit at Bristol and pit under green flag conditions any way possible. Oh, Hornaday's blowing up! Oh my goodness, Ron Hornaday has just blown an engine while running in 4th after leading laps and qualifying on the pole. And one of the championship contenders is done for the night. And that will make the task at hand for Ricky Craven much simpler for him to win this championship. He only has to beat Ron Hornaday by 52 points. And Hornaday's going to end up with a last place finish if he can't get that truck back out on the racetrack. He's already a couple laps down, so he's definitely out of a good finish. But if he can get back out on the track and maybe surpass a couple more people that DNF just in the hopes that Ricky Craven doesn't have an issue, or if he does have an issue, that maybe he still has a chance. So in the early going of today's race, Ron Hornaday has just blown a motor. And now Ricky Craven's job is to get this thing home in one piece. And the title is pretty much his. Caution's out, first time today. Trouble in turns 3 and 4, it appears. Lap 45 will be our first yellow. Truck got loose in the center of the corner, kind of backed it back down into a couple other of the fantasy trucks at the rear of the field. Wasn't that far in front of the leaders. About the few trucks outside the top 30, really. About 3 trucks involved total. After what was just a seamless single car spin. So Craven will stay out of the pits and maintain track position here. This will bunch the field back together. They were pretty close to lap traffic, but now this caution, it's going to be a little bit longer before any lap traffic is endured. Green flag back in the air, lap 49. Oh, Oh, Craven overdrives the restart. Hamilton got the wall. He overdrove the corner too, and Montgomery's going to get to the lead. This will be 5 bonus points for Chase Montgomery. Now, Montgomery's fairly close. He's 288 points out of first. Craven has to have a 270-point lead in order to clinch the championship. So Montgomery getting 5 bonus points there for leading that one lap before Craven passed him back is big if Montgomery does go on to beat Ricky Craven today. Which is also crucial for Craven to try to get the most laps led. So we can't have a bad finish and clinch the championship necessarily because of how close Chase Montgomery is, because he is going to be second in points at the end of this race rather than Ron Hornaday with Hornaday blowing an engine. So we're not racing Hornaday today for the championship anymore. We're racing Chase Montgomery now. And he is in second, so that's going to put pressure on Craven to win, because if Craven finishes second, even with leading the most laps, if I'm not mistaken, I think that would be a 5-point increase. And we have another caution off of turn 4 again, our second yellow already in about 9 laps or so. Another spin off turn 4. Oh my gosh, we just saw a truck flip at Bristol. Deborah Renshaw on the 8 goes on her side, not all the way upside down, but after a crash on her own off of turn 4, the truck toppled over. No contact endured. Have you ever? We just saw a truck flip at Bristol. Oh my gosh. I was not expecting that today. It's already been a crazy race. We had somebody flip. One of the championship contenders blew an engine. And the green flag is back in the air again at lap 58. And the 153 truck trying to get himself in contention and maybe take the lead. Craven has not been good on these restarts. Even the initial start, he lost quite a few spots. Montgomery goes backwards after contact with Craven on the front stretch. Craven lost the lead, but it seems like Montgomery's back to at least 5th. After the 153 leads 2 laps, big slide job by Craven. He was not clear, but he was able to still take the lead, even with the little bit of contact. Alternate through the different camera angles again. Still 140 laps to go. I don't even know who the 153 is, honestly, name-wise. The fantasy driver's kind of sneaking up out of nowhere with these cautions. Michael Turner, by the way, welcome into the stream also. Okay with a remake of NASCAR 6? I mean, it'd be cool. It wouldn't be my first choice for a remake of an EA Sports NASCAR game. It's not a bad game, though, by any means. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed this Let's Play. I'm sure a lot of you guys have also. We're dwindling down to the final days of it, too. If we clinch this truck championship tonight with Ricky Craven, we have just potentially one more NASCAR 06 stream left on the channel, and that would be a Busch Series race at New Hampshire. Assuming we could clinch the title there. We had a chance to clinch the championship the last 2 races. Haven't been able to do it yet. Still have 3 races to go total in that season and 2 today. Caution is out again. More trouble. This time off of turn 2. 3 cautions already. It is a caution fest tonight at Bristol. Another lazy spin in the middle of turns 1 and 2. 2 trucks at the very tail end of the field involved there. And it's the 117 who went for the spin and slid down in front of the 119. And actually, it looked like the 119 was able to miss him. And then he gassed it up a little early and clipped him at the end. Still don't think we're within the pit window here, so Craven will continue to stay out of the pits. We'll have yet another restart. This restart's making it interesting. He pulls away after a little bit, but initially on the restart, he tends to struggle. Kind of overdrives turns 1 and 2. Lap 70, green flag back in the air again. Much better restart that time for Ricky Craven. At least holds on to the lead for a full lap this time. Montgomery, meanwhile, I believe was able to drive back. No, actually, Bobby Hamilton is still in third. Montgomery remains in 5th place, which is where he fell after the last restart when he restarted initially in 2nd. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of this race. 129 laps to go. Another kiss off the wall on the exit of turn 2 for Craven. I mean, with how many cautions we've seen today, we might not even see lap traffic. We keep getting yellows. I feel like most of the Truck and Busch Series races at Bristol in this game, we rarely get cautions. Like, we're lucky to get 1 or 2. We've had 3 of them already. And it took us 45 laps to get our first caution. We've had 3 cautions in about a 30-lap stretch. EA Sports would do better with the Heat games? I don't know. I wouldn't rely on EA Sports to create anything close to what they captured with NASCAR in the mid to early 2000s. Just the state of where they're at right now. I mean, I personally don't think they've had a good Madden game since at least Madden 12, Madden 13. And I still played it every year up until like 17, and I just stopped playing. I mean, maybe the last couple have been good, but I wouldn't know because I haven't played them. But at the same time, I don't think most people, from what I've seen on the internet, whether they're content creators of like Madden games or sports games, or just things I've, read elsewhere, doesn't seem like this most recent Madden game is necessarily the greatest either. Now, I will say the NHL games in recent years have still been pretty good. There's some stuff that obviously could be much better, but I think it's definitely well better. It's playable, personally. It's playable compared to the other EA games. Now, I don't play FIFA either, so I don't know how that is. But I know Madden, specifically, it's definitely shaky. Now, there is a truck trying to make their way off of pit road, and I think it may be Ron Hornaday. He's on pit road, so he got from the garage to pit road after blowing an engine earlier. He'd be down a cylinder, but looking to pick up some more points. We've had a few wrecks. Maybe some drivers are out as a result of it. But it doesn't look like Hornaday is going to leave pit road anytime soon. Just some hope for him that Craven has some sort of a bad performance here. So let's just assume Ricky Craven leads the most laps, because he's already led quite a bit right now. We got another truck blowing an engine. That'd be the 164 trying to limp his way to pit road. Some more problems at Bristol, though we stay green for right now. I don't think we've seen the last caution today. The way they've been falling so far, we're not even halfway home yet. Quarter tank of gas left for Craven. Anyway, what I was going to say as far as the point situation goes, let's just say theoretically, Ricky Craven doesn't win the race. Chase Montgomery wins. But let's say Craven leads the most laps and gets 10 bonus points, because he has led a lot more laps than Chase Montgomery, for instance. And with Hornaday having the second most laps led and being out of the race, it's going to be tough for anybody else to catch the total that Craven has already put up right now. Not impossible, but pretty tough. If we were to finish 4th, it'd be 160 to 185, but with the 10 bonus points, that'd give us 170. So it'd be 15 points back. So we'd have to finish 6th or worse if Montgomery wins this race, if I'm not mistaken. Because he'd get 185 points for winning. I'd have the most laps led, 170 for second, 165 for third, 160, 155 for fifth, plus the 10 bonus points, 20. He was 288 back coming in. We need to be up by 270, so yeah. So we'd have to finish 5th or better to win the championship if Chase Montgomery wins. Which is a lot better than having to win and hope Hornaday was going to finish 8th or worse. Because Hornaday blew an engine right around 40 laps into this race, just before the first caution came out. Took him out of a chance to win it. Not only win the race, had a competitive race truck, qualified on the pole, led the opening laps, was running 4th when he blew the engine, but obviously was at least in contention to push this season another race as far as keeping his title hopes alive. Now he's going to be eliminated from contention with Craven having a good finish. And it's Chase Montgomery hoping that Ricky Craven finishes outside the top 5 if Montgomery goes on to win. The big thing I'm curious to see is how these green flag pit stops are going to shake out. We haven't seen anybody pit yet. And we've had 3 cautions already in this thing. Wade, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you get better. Rapidly. 153 truck's kind of slowly running down Ricky Craven. Craven hasn't really made any mistakes. Last couple corners weren't great, but before that it wasn't bad. The 153 truck's just flat out running Craven down. Now, there's not as much pressure, so even though you saw Craven beating and banging in the early laps of this race, he's got to be much smarter now knowing that he only has to finish in the top 5 to win the championship with Hornaday out. Quite a few trucks already pitting. .38 nearly got turned leaving pit road. Deborah Renshaw, who already ended up on her side after a wreck earlier. Single truck accident at that. Off the exit of turn 4, she toppled over. And it looked like we nearly had another wreck. Lap 100 right now. There's a lot of smoke in turns 1 and 2. And that was not from the contact that Renshaw and Witt made that last lap either on the apron. I can tell you that much. That was from something else. But we stay green. We'll be halfway home at the line. Smoke is still there. 100 down, 100 to go. All 4 tires in the yellow on the tire wear indicator right now for Craven. It's not a perfect race truck. Exhibit A. Out into the wall off turn 4, but I think it's good enough that I don't want to make any adjustments. Even though this is the only pit stop, just in case I go the wrong way on an adjustment in any way. This is definitely a top 5 race truck. And honestly, with Hornaday out of the race and the running order shaken up quite a bit, considering who's left in this thing, it's a race-winning truck. Loose off turn 2 there. A couple more laps and Craven will pit. Staying out of the pits as long as he is. He may cycle back in traffic a little bit. Got a 4.8 second lead right now. I think the 153 truck is the next one in front of him. It is, and that was who was in second right on the back of Craven. Once that 153 truck did hit pit road. Craven will pit at lap 107. He'll stay out this time by. He'll pit the following lap. And because of the 2 separate pit lanes at Bristol, he will have to pit on the front stretch. So he'll dive down off the exit of turn 4. He's leading some more laps. Montgomery's already got 5 bonus points, so he's not really too worried about that. Craven will be on his way in. 70 miles per hour is the pit road speed limit. Every track in this game. Again, no adjustments. 4 tires and fuel for Ricky Craven. And the one and only stop of the night is underway, and potentially the last one of the season for this 99 team if they can win the championship. Yeah, definitely a one-stop race. The cautions only further guaranteed that, but I pretty much would assume that it was going to be the case anyway. Now it's solidified. So the 50 truck, still out on the track. That would be Travis Quaffle. Ricky Craven, currently in 6th, still waiting on the top 5 to pit. Looks like Quaffle will be on, or sorry, not Quaffle, Kluver, Todd Kluver. Not Travis Quaffle. I think Quaffle was in the 50 truck on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. I don't know why I went all the way back one game. Considering that we're on the second to last here, caution flag is out. I don't know if Craven got back on the lead lap in time. The 106 has spun, our 4th caution of the race. I think Kevin Harvick might have gotten a piece of it. Either that or he narrowly missed. The next truck further back, though, definitely got a piece. Harvick definitely got clipped on the right rear just a bit. So our 4th caution. I don't know if Craven got his lap back. Now, Kluver was the leader. He was already on pit road. So no matter what, he's going to be the leader more than likely. Actually, John Hamilton will be the leader. Hamilton the leader on the restart. Craven 3rd, and he is on the lead lap. And Chase Montgomery is a lap down. Wow. So Montgomery barely a lap down. I mean, Craven was barely on the lead lap when the caution came out. He was nearly a lap down. Green flag is back in the air. Another not so good restart. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it's Chase Montgomery getting back on the lead lap, now hoping for a 5th caution in this one as we have 85 laps to go. John Hamilton led on the restart. Now he's trying to put Montgomery a lap down again and hold on to the lead simultaneously on Bobby Hamilton Sr., who is in 2nd, and he'll get by the 18. A lot of lap trucks between the top 2 and then the 3rd place truck. I should say the 4th place truck of Craven, because Craven lost 1 spot in the restart. He's in 4th now. I'm not sure who exactly would be for position in 3rd. And it looks like it's the 22 of Bill Lester, who's still winless this season. Got a chance to still get a top 5 points finish. There's Montgomery. So with the Ron Hornaday engine failure, and now with Chase Montgomery getting trapped a lap down with a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops, and Montgomery already made a stop. Craven did too, but Craven was barely back on the lead lap. Restarted 3rd. He's back to 3rd following the restart. Montgomery trying to get into the free pass position at the very least here in case we get another caution. Have we seen the last yellow? The rate we're going at right now, I don't think we have. This would far and away be the longest green flag run to the end of the race of over 80 laps. Craven going for 2nd. Off the wall goes the 04, and I think Montgomery got into him off the exit of turn 2 as well. Bobby Hamilton scrapes the wall, loses 2nd as a result. Craven to P2 and trying to run down race leader John Hamilton. Big picture's the championship to be clinched today. If Montgomery wins, just the top 5 away for Ricky Craven. Assuming he continues to lead the most laps. These are the first laps John Hamilton has led today as well. That was Craven's fastest lap that last time, 15.662. It'd be nice to get that 10th win of the year before the season's up, though. And considering the last 2 races will be simulated if we clinch the title today, this is the last chance to get that 10th win. A 7.7 average finish for Craven coming into this one today. Caution again, our 5th of the race. I think Montgomery was in the free pass position. Somewhere mid-pack, one truck got turned into the outside wall going into turn 3. And I believe it was Quaffle. Yeah, it was. The 50 truck. I don't know if he blew the corner and drifted up into the truck on the outside or if he just got turned going into 3. Whatever the case, contact. He gets T-boned. We have our 5th caution. Now, this might get Montgomery back in it if he did get the free pass. Which he may not have been. I think he got passed by too many trucks. That was the case. He's still going to be the first truck a lap down on the restart. And I don't know how many trucks are on the lead lap exactly either. Green flag back in the air. Craven's only had one good restart today. This one is decent. He doesn't lose any spots. The lap truck who was on his inside got by him. Montgomery gets back in the lead lap temporarily. Now he really wants a quick yellow. It's another chance for him. Craven slides up in front of the lapper. Almost got into the wall. Definitely made contact with the lap truck, though. That's going to hold him up. It's not the caution that the 99 wanted to see, because now he's battling. Bobby Hamilton underneath him for second. Craven back down to the inside. Big dive by Ricky Craven. Trying to get back to second place on Bobby Hamilton. Chopping the corners off way too deep. Take our first field pass of the race today. Clover's fallen back to 16th after his wreck. In the eye of the storm, considering most of these cautions have taken place mid-pack to the tail end of the field. Just less than 70 laps to go. A lot of 2x2 racing going on still off this restart. One truck pounds the wall off turn 2. Keeps it going. We stay green. Stalls out the outside lane just a little bit. We'll go back to Craven at the front of the field, who remains in 3rd place. Bobby Hamilton about another truck length ahead of him. And a lot of pressure from behind by the 110, who is a lap down, I do believe. Craven going low underneath Bobby Hamilton. Second place is his off turn 2. Clean pass that time. Chase Montgomery reeled back in John Hamilton just a little bit. Hamilton trying to go for 3 wins in a 5-race stretch and trying to go for back-to-back if he wins this. That caution really paid out for him. Hasn't lost the lead since the caution in the middle of green flag pit stop specifically. We had one other caution after that. Craven just has not been good on restarts today. And with all the cautions happening, that's part of the reason why he hasn't kind of dominated like we've seen him do on short tracks throughout most of the season. We had a thrilling Busch race at Bristol a couple of weeks ago. Might set up for that in the truck series today. A lot of smoke on the backstretch, like there might have been some trucks that nearly wrecked. There's definitely contact made, I'll tell you that much. You can see the entire field kind of split up into 2 packs nearly. That might have been about where that contact could have taken place. Smoke still hasn't fully dissipated yet. Should the next time we get through there. 59 laps to go at Bristol. And the championship is heavily favoring Ricky Craven. 18 in the wall. 99 never touched him. Put the pressure on Montgomery, made another mistake. Slips back. Position-wise, he's still in the same spot he was in. A little bit of contact. I kind of stalled Ricky Craven out. He wasn't trying to make contact there. He almost got underneath the 120. It was a late block going into turn 1. John Hamilton holds on for the lead. Craven looking low off turn 2, side by side into 3. Craven out in front at Bristol. And now Craven has also just clinched the most laps led. That'll be a 10 bonus point performance. We were assuming that that was going to be the case. He now has to finish 5th or better to win the championship. And currently he is in 1st. So pretty much as long as Montgomery doesn't get back in the lead lap. And Craven has had bad restarts so far, but Montgomery's still going to have to drive his way through the field too. It is more than likely looking like Ricky Craven's championship to lose tonight. After coming into the night, that wasn't the case. He was going to need a little bit of help, and he's gotten well more than his fair share of good fortune, as his other championship competitors have had misfortune. With Hornaday blowing an engine, he tried to get back out on the track, couldn't do it, and then a caution with about 90 laps to go in this race, a little north of 90 laps to go still. Which trapped quite a few trucks a lap down, including Chase Montgomery. 4th yellow in the middle of green flag pit stops really costed that 18 truck. It was short pitting. It was looking like he was going to be able to cycle out ahead of the 99 as long as the 99 stayed out. There's a reason he did it, and that was why, in case we got that caution, if he would have pitted a lap sooner, he would also be a lap down. So even with Montgomery being a lap down as well, that would be no guarantee that Craven would clinch the championship, because then we'd kind of have to revert back to not necessarily where John Hamilton's running, because Craven had a massive lead on him. It was more kind of looking at the 4th and 5th place drivers in points, like Shikiki Hattori and, well, really just Hattori. So Montgomery would have been back there with us anyway. I'm not sure where Hattori's at. Honestly, we haven't seen Hattori all night. I haven't seen him in any of the replays with the accidents. He hasn't been anywhere near the lead, which is where Craven's been. Craven's been top 5 the whole race. I think the furthest back in the running order he was 6th in the middle of green flag pit stops, and that was it. GC1424, thanks for tuning in to the stream, and thanks for that $1 super chat. Appreciate it. I've been meaning to ask you, I keep forgetting, I can't remember, are you going to Dakota this year? I remember for a little bit you said you were going to, then I think you said you were pulling out. Man, a lot more smoke on the back. I could not see a thing there. There was almost like 2 bands of smoke. This has been a caution fest at Bristol. I don't think we've seen a truck race like this between NASCAR 05 and NASCAR 06. I don't think we've ever seen more than 2 cautions in a Bristol race. Maybe we have, maybe like 3, but we've seen 5 today. And I don't think we've seen the last one because there's smoke billowing a couple times during this green flag run alone. Yeah, ticket prices are pretty ridiculous. Compared to any other race I've been to. Like, I'm planning on sitting in turn 1. $124 per ticket. I could get like some of the best seats at Bristol for like an extra $20. sit on the front stretch all the way towards the top for that price. I'm pretty sure my tickets for Bristol, where I was sitting about 3/4 of the way up a couple years ago for the night race, were less expensive than that. I want to say I paid like $110 for those. Those were great seats, but I mean, granted, Bristol doesn't really have a bad seat because of how small the track is, but still, like, that was less than this, and this is turn 1 on a road course. Like, you're not going to be able to see the whole track. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. $130 for one, yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, I went to the Indy 500 last year for less than that for a ticket. And I sat in turn 1 then. It's stupid. I mean, you're talking like Indy 500. Now, granted, Indy 500 turn 1 versus, you know, turn 1 at well, I would argue that the Indy 500 turn 1 ticket should have been more than the COTA ticket. It doesn't make any sense. No, I agree with you. Luckily, I have a place to stay, so I'm not having to spend any extra money for, like, hotel or anything. We're staying in Houston that weekend. Or 2.5-hour drive, roughly, from Austin. I'm only going to be there for the Cup race, though. As far as racing goes. I'm going to try to do the live commentary streams for the Truck and Xfinity that weekend. I haven't booked a flight yet. I don't know exactly... I don't know if I'm going to do the live commentary here and then try to get a flight that night or the next morning. It'd be risky to go the next morning. I mean, that time of the year, I won't have to really worry about snow where I live, typically, so I don't think I'd have to worry about a delayed flight. But you never know. I don't want to risk doing the live commentary on the road. I don't know what the internet's like where I'm staying. I honestly wasn't really on the internet when I was just there like a month and a half ago or so. Headphones broke, those were 50. Like over half an 8500 ticket. Oof. 0 for your tax return? Yeah, that doesn't help either. Bristol, August 2016, turn 2, actually see. Oh, jeez. Just lost the lead there looking at the chat. Gotta focus in. Almost had a wreck. That was not focusing. Raven stuck on the outside. He mowed the wall down again off turn 2. Got a good battle for the lead going on between Bobby Hamilton, John Hamilton. The Hamiltons, no relation. Battling for the win. Bobby out in front. I believe this is the first time he's led all day. John Hamilton just cracked the wall off turn 2. Oh, he almost had a wreck again. Craven trying to use the old bump and run. Couldn't get by the 04, and he got trapped behind the lap truck. Craven's trying to use the lapper as a pick. It's not your bad. It's my bad for... I haven't read the chat too much tonight. It's very hard to do that, this track. Like 700 like usual. Yeah, I want to say last year I only got like 200 and something back. The worst part about that though is that most of that I ended up having to pay H&R Block because that's who did my taxes last year because I went with the tax professional. I only ended up netting like $50. because they took it out of my visit. Well, I had my choice that I either could have paid with the card then and then just got the full 200 whatever dollars back, or I could have paid them and through whatever the income tax was going to be, which I just did that. Might as well. 16 to go. 17 to go, excuse me. 3 wide at Bristol. Craven trying to go for the lead. Hamilton's off the wall off turn 4, and Craven slicks by. Now we're down to 16 to go. Craven back to the lead again. It's a good race. I'm not really focusing on that too much. Sorry for that. Usually a lot better with the commentary in this essence. Got sidetracked during a good portion at the end of the race. I think the main reason is because the big picture, we know as far as the championship goes, it's going to be more than clinched. Craven just has to finish 5th or better. And currently, obviously leading, fell back to 3rd there briefly, but I don't think 4th or 5th was anywhere near the top 3. About a 6/10 of a second lead for Craven. As long as he gets through lap traffic well enough, shouldn't have to worry about the 0-4 of Bobby Hamilton anymore after he hit the wall a couple laps ago and lost the lead. Professionals that spend everything they're supposed to get to. Yeah, pretty much. Good news, we got you 200. Was going to be 199.99. Yeah, pretty. I mean, that's about what it was. I was actually shocked it was that much. I thought they were joking at first, honestly. I literally didn't take it seriously. I'm like, wait. I was like, wait, say that again. How much do I owe you guys? Like, seriously? I think I owed him like $150 something. I made just over 200. Didn't make any sense. The only reason I had them do that, there's 2 reasons. One, I don't trust myself doing taxes just in case I make a mistake. I don't want like 10 years down the line to come by and, you know, I failed my taxes, filing out my taxes for 10 consecutive years. I owe like 10 grand by next week. I don't want that to happen. That's number 1. Oh my gosh, I'm not focusing again. A lot of contact back there after that lap truck got in the wall. Contact the leader. 9 to go. The other reason, quickly, just because it was my first year with YouTube, I wanted to see what I could get tax deductions for, what I couldn't. I wasn't sure exactly how that worked. Never really talked to anybody about it before, so I figured a tax professional was the best person to go to. I mean, it was pretty self-explanatory after the fact. I'm sure simple YouTube video, which I was, you know, looking up some random stuff. I did research on it, but I just wanted to make sure I was 100% sure. Like I said, I didn't want to mess anything up. And we'll see about this year. I haven't even filed yet this year. Cheapest deal you've ever seen. 158 from Houston to Philadelphia round. Wow, that is ridiculously cheap. It's got to be time of the year and stuff too. Plus, if you're leaving on like a weekday, that would probably make it a bit cheaper than a weekend. It's like a Thursday, Monday deal. Three and a half laps to go for Ricky Craven to win the championship. It wasn't clean on his racing terms here at the end. But he's been in the top 5 all day. That's where he needed to finish to win the title. And he's going to be able to do it. Pretty good race. A lot of cautions in the first 2/3. But we're going to end this thing on a roughly 60 lap plus green flag run to the end, which will be the longest green flag run of the race. Just 2 to go. Looking to get the white flag this time by. No cautions on the final lap. 1.7 second lead over Bobby Hamilton, assuming he is still in second. Friday, Tuesday. That could be why. That's still cheap, though. No matter what airlines it is. Checkered flag in the air. Ricky Craven will win his 10th race of the season and win the championship in the same night. Our final truck race on NASCAR 06 is complete, and Ricky Craven is your race and championship winner. How about that? Ricky Craven has won a NASCAR championship. What a day to be alive. Way to go, Ricky! Had a lot of help. Ron Hornaday blew an engine, which made winning the championship tonight a lot more feasible, considering he had a fast truck qualified on the pole. There we go. Yeah, Hornaday blew an engine about 40 laps into this race. We'll see exactly what lap it was, but it was pretty close to around there because it was just before the first caution. Yeah, lap 40. So it was right there. Qualified on the pole, led 13 laps at the beginning of the race. He was running fourth. Originally, when we came into this race, if I led the most laps, I was assuming Hornaday was going to lead because he qualified on the pole, which he did. So he had to finish 8th or worse for me to win the championship. Obviously, he finished well worse than 8th because of blowing the motor with us getting the win, so that helped. But considering he was in 4th, if he would have finished top 8, we wouldn't have won the championship today. And as for the mid-race caution, with about 90 laps to go, exactly 93 laps to go, the caution came out. Middle of green flag pit stops. It was our 4th yellow of the day at the time. And we barely, and I mean barely, got back on the lead lap in the middle of the cycle because the last 5 trucks were on pit road when the caution flag waved. We were in 6th, and we just got our lap back, as did quite a few other drivers. 19 drivers ended up on the lead lap. Now, Chase Montgomery, who was, what, 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place, somewhere around there. I mean, he was top 5 the whole race. He was still a lap down. He was on the wrong side of that caution coming out. And because of that, he ended up getting trapped a lap down, so he ended up finishing 21st. Which, Jones went a lap down late in the race. I think he was in that 137 truck we passed in the late going. So, I mean, he would have been first truck a lap down. He definitely would have been within the top 5. So we definitely had a lot of help winning this championship tonight. But kind of dumb luck, honestly, when you look at the bad luck we had the last 2 Busch Series races, unable to get the championship there. A lot of it was self-inflicted. Tonight, I didn't run a clean race again, but I ended up still getting the championship. So I got a lot of help tonight, though, with it. And it's weird that I didn't run a great race for myself, but I still won, versus the other races, slight mistakes, just gradual mistakes throughout the course of a full race, costed me a great finish, and the driver we didn't need to run good, which was Clint Boyer, literally led the most laps. He led all but 7 laps at Watkins Glen. Like, he just absolutely obliterated the field. He had the fastest car, because even when I got track position, he was the one car I couldn't keep up with. Tony Stewart was kind of iffy. I could keep up with him. We were having good battles. He wouldn't pull away from me necessarily, but Clint Boyer was just gone. We had nothing for him at Watkins Glen. But, yeah, that's going to wrap this season up. We are going to simulate the last 2 races, and then we'll see the full field finishing order and the points. Your top 10 tonight, Ricky Craven led 137 laps, gets the win. 1 hour, 6 minutes, 42 seconds total time of today's race. That's even with the 5 cautions. And 1.7 seconds margin to victory. 15 lead changes, 95.88 mile per hour average race speed. Bobby Hamilton Sr. led 8 laps towards the late going. Fell back after getting into the wall. That's what cost him the lead in a great battle at the time with Ricky Craven. John Hamilton was up there for a little bit too, led 35 laps. He was the driver who actually got the lead after the 4th caution of the race. And it took a while. But honestly, I think all 35 of those laps he led were consecutive, because he was leading for quite a while in the second half of that race before Bobby Hamilton and Ricky Craven were able to close in. Brandon Witt ends up finishing in 4th. George Teague rounds out the top 5. He at least got a win this season. That's pretty good for a fantasy driver. Shigeki Hattori finished 6th, so he had a solid run. I didn't see him the whole race. I was wondering where he was at, because he was also in contention for the title still coming into the race mathematically. With him finishing 6th, that definitely put the pressure on us to still have to finish halfway decent for the championship, even with Montgomery going a lap down and Hornaday blowing up. Bill Lester finishes 7th. Simpson led a lap. He finishes 8th. Parker 9th. And Todd Kluver led 4 laps during green flag pit stops. Rounds out the top 10. That was even after wrecking. He still finished 10th. He got T-boned. He got absolutely turned. Kind of similar to how McDowell turned Bubba Wallace in the All-Star race at Bristol a couple years ago. That's pretty much what it looked like. Just less damage as far as how many pieces fell off the car. Where'd Deborah Renshaw finish? She flipped earlier. For those of you that didn't see it, we had a flip right around lap 50 at Bristol. But it wasn't a full rotation, but she ended up on her driver's side door. I've never seen anything like that at Bristol. It was very strange. Not in a video game, at least. 31st. 30th. Yeah, she definitely had quite a bit of damage from that. Alright. And we only had 2 DNFs. Davis, we saw him blow an engine. The 136 truck, I believe. And then obviously we saw Hornaday blow a motor very early in the race as well. Alrighty. So let's take a look at the championship results once we simulate these last 2 races. Running out of fuel or whatever. I could have. I still have to work out tonight though, so I'm trying to wrap this up fairly quick. Even though I'm not going very quick about it. Cheese wheel 200. I'll look at the point standings real quick, and then I'll simulate the last 2. Well, I'll just simulate the last 2, actually. There's no point. I already know we clinched the championship. Just going to check just to make sure, but yeah, we're way ahead. Hornaday's actually still second in points, even blowing the engine, which I'm... Well, the only reason is because Chase Montgomery got trapped a lap down with that mid-race caution during green flag stops, so... Otherwise, he'd be in second. Hattori's pretty close in the battle after his 6th place run. And John Hamilton had a top 3. He's in it. I mean, it's a tight battle for second. Honestly, if you go all the way back to Parker in 8th, they're about 1 race worth of points out of second. With just 2 races to go. That's a tight battle for second. And Daytona's a finale, too, so that could shake things up. Alright, so we'll simulate these last 2 races. I like how... I'm not going to count these towards my win total, by the way. It feels kind of cheap to do that for the simulating. I'm not going to add the laps led either. I do have to add the 137 before I forget, though. To my laps led counter on the year. And I'll have to also get the average finish up. So let me do that real quick. And I'll just take the average finish based off the first 23 races. Bear with me for one moment. I think I messed that up. Shoot, I gotta restart. I think I messed it up. 2. I was thinking I missed a race in there somewhere. Not used to doing these streams this late at night either, on a work night. So my brain's only like half awake, I think, right now. Half functioning. I'm about to say just screw it. I'm fat fingering everything on my calculator. First, second, the last 4 races we ran. And you throw a 29th in there, and then the 3 races before that, first, second. And then you throw a 23rd in there, and you got another first, a 10th, and then another first. 9th, 17th. Only had 5 races where we finished outside the top 10. Yep, that's it. Average. I messed that up. God bless America. What was that number? I think it was 172. 7.4 average finish. It might be a little bit off. I feel like I fat fingered it right at the end. I meant to hit equals and then divide by 23, and I just hit divide by 23 at first. I think I saw 172 before that. So 10 wins. Ended up with 10 wins, 15 top 5s, 18 top 10s. And then 1,473 laps led with a 7.4 average finish through 23 races. Not too shabby. And we clinched the championship 2 races early. He's rusty. I'm definitely rusty, I'll tell you that much. Led only 1 lap. Guys, yeah, I didn't even realize that. 17.6 margin of victory on a road course. It had to have been, yeah, we only led 1 lap. Maybe he was, yeah, I don't know how that happened. No cautions either. Had to have been a fuel mileage race. That is something. Not going to look at the full finishing order here. Daytona season finale. Oh, wow, Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick finally got his first win of the truck season after running the entire truck season as a Cup regular. And it took till the last race to get a win, and it came on a super speedway. But he did it. Led 25 laps. And a 1.5 second victory. No cautions. Must have been drafted off the lap trucks. Drafted his way to victory. Scored us with 5th. I'm not going to count that last win and that 5th place finish for the extra top 5s. That would have made my average finish probably go pretty close to below a 7, but I didn't actually run those races, so I don't want to count it. Hornaday blew a motor again. And Hattori. Wow, Hornaday blew an engine in 2 of the last 3 races. He was second in points going in. I mean, it's kind of like Montgomery blew an engine 2 races in a row leading up to tonight's race. Then he finished a lap down in 22nd. 7. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of is somehow... I don't know. Maybe it was a fuel mileage race. Everybody ran out except for us. So we ended up with a 17-second lead, and we never led a lap the entire race leading up to it. Like, the leader ran out of gas on the white flag lap. I don't know. That's like the best case scenario. And the only assumption I can make for leading 1 lap and winning by 17 seconds. And a caution-free race. Alright, so obviously we knew Craven was going to win the championship. Chase Montgomery does finish 2nd despite coming into the night. He was 3rd. John Hamilton, who was 5th in points coming into the night, last 3 races, jumps up to 3rd. Ron Hornaday fell from 2nd to 4th. Shigeki Hattori fell from 4th to 5th. Chris Parker out of nowhere gets up to 6th. I think Bill Lester was 6th. He fell back to 8th. I don't even know where Parker was. Wasn't he like 8th after Bristol? Gained 2 spots in the last couple races. Bobby Hamilton 7th, Harold Jackson 9th, Marvin Sheth rounds out the top 10. Our teammate Todd Kluver just outside the top 10 in points, ended up 12th. He was almost a full, actually just over a full race worth of points out of 10th. He did not get a win this season either. And Harvick was 26th in points, ran every race. Oof. He got a win though. He was definitely the lowest driver in points to get a win. And I believe that gave us 10 different winners on the season with Harvick winning. That was his first. George Teague won the season opener at Daytona. He won one race, 17th in points. Wilson Eubanks won one race early in the season as well. He finished 13th. Terry Cook won a race early in the season. I'm going to actually go back through. I kept track of who won what race. Wilson Eubanks won the season opener at Daytona. George Teague won the second race of the year at Michigan. I knew they were both early in the year, though. Terry Cook, his only win came at Levi Strauss Signature Speedway. So he had one win. Marvin Sheth had one win on the season. He won at Darlington. I remember that was a last lap pass on me. He stuffed me in the wall on the last lap. After I raced him clean for like the last 20 laps after a late race restart. Stupid. I led all but like 9 laps. Harold Jackson didn't win. Bill Lester didn't win. Bobby Hamilton Sr. won one race. And that was the second race at Daytona because we had 3 total if you count the last race of the year that we didn't run. So he won the 11th race of the year at Daytona. Parker didn't win. Hattori didn't win. Ron Hornaday had 3 wins. He won at Mr. Clean Speedway, which is kind of like Rockingham. He won at Richmond and won a 50% race at Texas. John Hamilton also won 3 races. He won the last race at UPS Speedway, or second to last before Bristol tonight. He won at Kansas in the 19th race of the year, so he won 2 of the last 5 that we raced. And then he won very early in the season. He won the 3rd race of the year at Las Vegas. Chase Montgomery won 2 races. He won at Dover and a 50% race at Charlotte. And then, of course, our driver, Ricky Craven, wins the championship. 10 races, 1 on the season. We won Bristol, as we just saw. We won at IRP, went wire to wire in that race, led all 200 laps from the pole. Won at Phoenix and California Speedway back-to-back. Won at Dodge Raceway, Old Spice Speedway, the first race there. We didn't run the second one. Won a 50% race at Milwaukee. Won at Atlanta, Martinsville, and a 50% race at New Hampshire. So those are the 10 victories on the season for us. So that is that's all the statistics that I was able to keep track of throughout the season. So there we go. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We have at least one more NASCAR 06 stream left on the channel. It'll be sometime next week. It'll be a Busch Series race at New Hampshire. I'm almost thinking of simulating that race. Theoretically speaking, we finish last because I don't have a shot to get the best average finish after just completely having bad finishes the last 2 races. Because I know New Hampshire, I mean, we could get cautions in weird spots where it could be a competitive race. But that's like one of the easiest tracks for me on this game compared to the rest of the AI. So I have a feeling I'm going to dominate that race. It's not even going to be close, and we have to finish as 32nd or better to win the championship. So considering we have to finish 32nd or better, the next race after that is California and then Talladega. Talladega, although I have gotten good finishes, I don't tend to win on a lot. But California Speedway, I won the truck race there. I don't even know how I did that because I typically don't get great finishes at that track in this game. The first Busch Series race at California, I think we raced there. Maybe, yeah, the first race I finished 14th. Only led 8 laps. Mark Martin won. I remember struggling that one. And then we had a cup race there. Gotta go back and look. Oh, I think I deleted my cup stats. Yeah, I don't have them anymore. Why'd I do that? Well, never mind. I don't remember having great finishes in those races either, though. But that's probably what I'm going to end up doing just for that reason. Just to try to make it a little more competitive. But we only have to finish 32nd or better. So that'll be next week. I don't know what day yet, but that'll be sometime between Monday and Wednesday next week. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be live streaming tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Start Time. We will be doing a Throwback Thursday live stream once again, as we do every Thursday now on the channel. We'll watch an old race that you guys voted on in the community tab. This week's winner, the 1998 Las Vegas race, the inaugural NASCAR Cup Series race at Las Vegas. We'll rewatch it. I've never watched that race. I do know who won just based off of me being a historian of the sport, but I did have no clue what happened in that race. Honestly, or probably have in highlight videos and stuff randomly on YouTube, but I honestly couldn't tell you what happened other than who won, and I couldn't even tell you what the margin of victory was. Honestly, I have no clue if it was close or not. But needless to say, it'll be exciting to see what happened in that one. That will be again tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the next 3 nights we'll be doing live commentary. We'll start off with the Truck Series live commentary on Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Las Vegas. And then live commentary for the Xfinity Series race at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time Saturday evening. And then at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, we'll go live for commentary for the Cup race. Appreciate everybody tuning in again. I'm rambling. I'm going to end the stream. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night.